welcome to episode 6, as today we recap the NFL Week 2 and the college Week 3, as I look at key performances from players and teams, and how teams will overcome their rocky start and make it a playoff contention season, and how other teams will keep their hot streak going even through injuries or whatnot. So let's get started. Key teams I will start with for the NFL are the Giants and the Falcons and the Washington Commanders, as the Commanders go 2-0 after barely holding on against the Denver Broncos with that huge 2-point conversion stop late in the fourth quarter last Sunday, as the Falcons have a very competitive game against the Packers and pull that one off with the help of Bijan Robinson, and the Giants being down 20-0 at halftime, 28-7 going into the fourth quarter and winning the game. Very exciting. As I'd like to touch up, Washington has had two very, very close games. Sam Howell has played like he is the key guy in Washington, and that's very strong for them to see. Under new ownership, is easy to say, oh, we have everything under check, but you don't if you don't have a quarterback. So it's nice to see that they have a quarterback, a nice solid one, to start the new ownership and the new season. The Giants win, but at what cost type of headline, as Saquon Barkley will be out until week 4 or 5, which has really been the statement over the last 3-4 years that he's been in the league. Very exciting player, hurt mostly. How will they overcome that? I'd like to mention that the Giants and the Falcons, not so much the Falcons, and Colorado in two different leagues are kind of in the same place. Colorado comes off a slim win against Colorado State, just like the Giants barely won against the Cardinals. Two key injuries on two big players on those rosters in Travis Hunter and, as I mentioned, Saquon Barkley. Travis Hunter, who is cornerback 1 and wide receiver 1 for Colorado, and he'll be out almost the exact same time as Saquon Barkley, and how Colorado will overcome that. I do not think they will. The money line is 21. Though they're expected to lose by 21 to Oregon, I do not think they will lose by 21. I think they'll lose by 15 or 10 or 15. I don't think it'll be 21. I think it'll be close, but I got Oregon in that one. In Oregon, forget it. So, the reason why they're bringing up in this video is that they're 3-0 for a first time in a long time, and it's unfamiliar territory. Will Deion Sanders lead them to victory? I know he's got his slogan and he's got his reason. Now he's underdogs again. Will he pull it off? Very excited to watch that. Giants going into week 3, play tonight against the 49ers in San Fran. Big game. They have to keep their season and playoff hopes alive again tonight against the 49ers. Very excited to watch that, as they will not have Andrew Thomas as well as Saquon Barkley. A lot of key places missing tonight for the Giants. And will they get blown out again on a primetime game? Hopefully not. Or will the 49ers continue to be probably the number 1 team in the NFL? I know it's up for a conversation with different teams right now, but I think the 49ers have my pick of the first and best team in the NFL. Will the Giants be the underdogs on the road? They've proven they're a road team for years to come now, and it's a very exciting game to watch on Prime Video tonight, 8:15. So those two teams are kind of in the same spot. Falcons, as I got my Falcons Legacy hat on, and a Giants jersey. I know that this is different than what I usually wear, but I'm trying to implement different things into every episode. As last week, I wore the Tar Heels hat, and I also have a Seahawks hat that I'll implement. I'm trying to change it up a little bit, and when I'm talking about, I wear, which hopefully you guys like. So the Falcons, big performance by Bijan Robinson again. He shows that he's their main guy on 19 rushing attempts for 124 yards. No touchdowns this week, however, that was his first 100-yard game in the NFL, or 100 plus yards in the NFL. And so good for him. And as you see highlights over here throughout the video on different things that I'm talking about as I'm talking about it. So, two teams I'd like to recognize in this video. I'm not going to talk about them too long, but Washington, as I mentioned earlier, 2-0, big 2-point conversion stop, but also the Chargers. Now, it's easy to say, oh, everything's gone well, we're going to have a good year at 2-0, but how do you recover from 0-2? 2 games that they've now played, just like every other team, at least 2 games after tonight, and 2 huge crushing losses. One coming to the Dolphins, and the other just last week. 2 close games. They've scored 50 points without a turnover. One of the only teams to ever do that in the NFL. And, their coach is definitely on the hot seat. I know he felt that this past week in an interview. I think it was a dumb question to ask if the 0-2 start has anything to do with last year in Jacksonville. But, maybe it does. They had a huge lead in that game, if you remember, and they lost. But I think it's also on the other side of the ball. I think it's ridiculous to say that because it was so long ago. You have so many opportunities to get back into a room with your guys and tell them and work with them. So I don't think it has anything to do with last week. I'd just like to shout that out. I think the Chargers have this week, though. I think they'll regain. And, teams do get off to a slow start, as we've seen in different teams. Chiefs barely pulling away from the Jags this past week and obviously losing to the Lions week 1. So I think it's, I don't think they'll harp on it too much, and I think these good teams will get back to a hot route and a hot streak, and they'll be fine. While other teams, their luck might run out. For instance, Washington, they've had 2 games now, and they've barely snuck by. So I think their luck will run out. Sam Howell has proven he's the guy, but for how much longer will he continue to dominate in those games, or at least play good enough to win? Thank you for watching. I appreciate all the support, as that is it for today's video. As I'm very excited for a week in college and NFL. And as always,